Hello and welcome back to Mikey's Flightdeck. Today I will disclose the secret of this big wooden box that belongs to my laser setup. Let's have a look inside it. I have introduced my laser setup a while ago in another video with, of course, my laser and all the needed components, the chiller, the compressor setup, the exhaust fan and so on. But one very important component wasn't introduced in this video because it wasn't there. Something that you don't want to have inside of your room when you're working with a laser is smoke and smell. I have replaced the exhaust fan that came with the laser with this inline exhaust fan here, which is a lot more quiet than the other one. And I have blown out smoke and smell with the tube that came with the laser and a home-built adapter in a wooden plate and blown all this out of my window. I always thought about buying or building a filter system for this exhaust here, but I have always scheduled it to a later time. But then there came this moment when my neighbor came over and said that smoke is coming out of my basement and they wanted to see if everything is okay. And this was the moment when I thought about better coming to a decision now than in the future. I looked a little bit out there in the web for a commercial solution, but I found out really fast that this would be an expensive buy. And so I looked out after DIY projects of filter systems and took some ideas from different projects and came out with my own design of a filter system. And this is now what it looks like. The idea behind this design is that the air flows through different filters. It is sucked up from the top out of this box here, and so it is sucked in from the side here through the tube that is connected to my laser. And the air goes through 4 different filters, starting from up here, goes down here to the bottom, through a connection through this wall here, and then up again through 2 other filters. It starts here with a rough filter that filters out most big dust particles. Then down here through a fine filter which takes the rest of the dust. Then down here there is a hole in the wall so that the air can stream through it. All other segments here are closed so the air can't take any other way. Down here we have an active coal filter which takes out all the smell. And this is a tube where the air comes from the outside to the inside of the tube and then take its way up to the next filter here, which is a HEPA filter. And this filters out all the rest of the smallest particle out of this airstream. And then it goes out to the window. I have tested this so far. I have hold my head inside the stream that came out there and there was no smell of anything that you laser, especially when you are cutting wood, plywood for example. Then you have much dust, smoke and smell there, and there was nothing left over when it took the way through this filter system here. I had to make sure that the air takes its way through all of the filters and not beside of them. And so I made 2 things here. First of all, every filter sits on its frame, and on top of this frame there is this foam stripes here that you have seen on the outside of the box. And to ensure that the filter is pressed on top of this foam stripes, I have installed angles for each filter that presses the filter onto the frame with a screw. And these angles I've mounted on the 2 filters here and as well on top of the HEPA filter here. The size of this system is dictated by the size of the biggest component here, and these are these two filters here on the right side. And especially because of the length of these filters, I wasn't able to build it smaller. Even if the two filters on the left side are smaller, the HEPA and the active coal filter, I would have to come out with a design with two doors, and I thought it would be much easier with only one door to close. And here comes the next thing. You have to make sure that every opening is airtight when it is closed. And so I have added all these isolation tape here on the outside of the box. So when the door is closed, then hopefully it is sucked a little bit to the inside and lays flat on all these bands here. In addition, to give more pressure to the door here, I have installed these locking mechanisms that you know from some boxes, and I have installed 4 of them on the top, bottom, and 2 here on the sides. And so the door is pressed against this opening here. I have this system running now about a year now in my shop, and I haven't seen any wear off of the filters here. I see down here in the fine filter a change of the color, and I think this comes from some sessions when I cutted much plywood, but the whole function of the system hasn't taken any disadvantage of this until now. So maybe I have to change some of the filters from time to time, but in my case here I'm not cutting too much wood, and most of the times I'm cutting acrylic. This will last for a long time, and so it is much cheaper than any other commercial solution out there. Now you have a good overview of the design I have created here, and now you have the knowledge to make your own designs with the measurements that fit to your components that you can get where you are living. Keep in mind that all the filters that you buy have to match the air volume that your exhaust fan can pull out from your laser. But now I have to go back to main work, designing components for my 737 cockpit, and I will see you soon back on the flight deck.